Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Girl, I'm feeling like my knot is doing its own thing right
Did
now.
you notice we're matching with the black and white?
Oh, with the black and white, check
With
that
the
out.
black
Yes,
and
we
white,
are.
I got a
Look at
little.
that.
I don't even know what this is called, but this kind of top.
Uh
I don't
huh.
know. It's a dress though. It's a dress
Oh,
though.
it's a dress. Okay. You know
Yeah.
what? I needed these glasses today at work. I picked them up to go into the office, and I get into the office, and I'm struggling because I can't see anything. And I'm like, okay, where are my glasses? And I'm like, I remember picking them up, and I did. I picked them up and I put them right back down here on my desk.
Mhm.
So,
Um.
girl,
Oh, and then these were the shoes.
oh, check you out. All right
Listen, they better stop for people do a fashion show.
now. Okay. Okay, Miss Fashion Plate. Well, hello, everybody. People are coming on. Hello. Once you come in, we would love if you would announce yourself. Let us know who's here with us tonight. So while everyone is checking in, and when you're checking in, guys, go if you would please let us know where you're checking in from. So while all that is going on, Millie, how was your week?
My week was super duper productive. I cannot lie. I've been knocking out things and I'm feeling super accomplished. This week I got a car. I got another car.
Oh, very
So
good.
a house and I'm gonna be posting it onto Toro soon, so that's good.
You doing what?
Um sorry, wait, 1 second. This is giving me some issues. 1 second. One
I'm trying to turn my volume up. It seems like, okay, maybe that's what it was. It seemed muffled on my side. I'm not quite sure if I sound okay for you guys. So if you can hear me okay, let me know in the chat also. Um,
All right,
okay.
it's working now. It was doing something weird before, but yeah. Listen, this week has been so super good, super productive. I'm feeling great about it. You, how was your week?
My week was a lot. It was a lot. The last couple of weeks, I know I probably was talking about fiscal year end and all these things
Yeah,
happen.
yeah,
Yeah, so now we're over fiscal year end and we're starting into the new year. And oh my goodness, they did not. Oh my gosh, I mean, we just really hit the ground running. So, um, I have been busy. So this time of year is like my planning time and reaching out to different vendors and companies and things like that. But yeah, it has been a lot. It has been very busy. But
yeah.
I have, but other than that, I have had a great week. I am looking forward to the weekend,
Yay!
baby. Yes. Oh my goodness, my Sora is here. Okay, Valeria's from
Yay!
Ogden, Utah, and So King William. That's my Sora from She's my Sora. Hey Sora, thank you for joining us. Oh, that is so sweet. Then
Aw.
then we have Andrea. Hi, Andrea from Arizona. So very hot girl. I know. I can imagine Arizona being hot.
Aren't you guys having like a heat wave? Yeah, Arizona's having like an actual like legitimate heat wave. Apparently over there they're experiencing like 110 days. So
Doesn't
I mean, stay
Arizona
cool.
always have heat waves?
Pray over that
Oh
AC.
my gosh.
It will not go out.
My goodness. Sora King Williams, tell me how is the weather up in NYC? We're gonna have to go visit her. But you've gone to New York City. I haven't. I'm gonna have to make my way up that way. Sunny day. Hi, Wani and Melissa. It's so
Hey,
nice to see you. Hello. So my I have a quick Arizona story to tell you guys. It's kind of funny.
Mhm.
So when my sister and I, we were moving her from Georgia to California. I told you we did that in a day. We drove from Georgia, from Atlanta to California in one day. We'll never do it again. That is the vigor and the determination of a 26-year-old. She would never do that again. But when we stopped to get, I think it was gas, or I think it was gas. We stopped in Arizona, and it was, I don't remember what time of the day it was, but whatever time of the day, it was baking hot. It was ridiculously hot. And so we get out of the rider truck where we were all air conditioned. And as soon as I got out, the heat hit me in the face. As I stood, I got out the truck, it hit me in the face. I turned right back around and got back up in the truck. I was like, we don't need it. Whatever we came there, I did not pump the gas. I don't know if my sister may have pumped the gas, but that heat was something I have never felt in my life before. I was like, never again. I don't know how y'all stay in Arizona. It is beautiful. I would definitely have to come there in the winter. Or
You mean when it's 75 degrees?
Yes, exactly. I would have to come then. I would never do the summer again. I want to say we probably was in June. It was probably like May or June. It was ridiculously hot.
Mm-hmm. I had what my aunt used to live out there. So when I was young, so when I was maybe in like middle school, high school, and I went out there to visit her, yeah, people don't hang out outside. Like there's no let's go play around a basketball. Like it's wow, you're going from one covered insulated air conditioned thing to another insulated air conditioned thing. Yeah.
That is crazy.
Area Stewart, thank you for joining from Ogden, Utah.
Where did you see that?
At the top.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. Thank you for joining us. Stephanie's here. Hello, Stephanie. Naja Parker's here. Hello, hello. So we missed you guys last week, y'all, right? We didn't do it last week.
No, we did not.
Okay,
no, we
girl,
did not.
you know, everything is running together to me.
It was a heated situation.
Literally, it was a heated situation. I told you guys, my air conditioner went out, and your girl, and with the no air, as well as having my own personal weather patterns, it wasn't going to work. It wasn't going to work. So I had to cancel. But I'm so happy to say that my air was fixed yesterday. I was like, when are they gonna call me and schedule me? I was beginning to feel a certain type of way, and so
I told you what to do.
Okay,
I told you what to do.
I
told her to put in the comments that you'll give them food.
Girl, all the work that he did, I gave him water. I kept giving him water, but he did a lot. So I was really, I was very, very happy. And let me tell you what happened. Wow. So the reason my AC was working improperly was because during the pandemic, y'all know we couldn't find anything. And so Mr. B went to try to find the air filters, and he could not find the air filters. Mm-hmm. And so he put the old air filter back up in there. So afterwards, like I guess 2021, he went to go and find the air filter. So when he went out again, he still could not find the air filter. Well, instead of him putting the old air filter in, he didn't put anything in, right?
Okay.
And so so the guy was like, so you've been changing your air filter? I'm like, I don't know. I guess he has. I mean, I know he normally do. We normally have some up there. And so he goes up and he comes down. He said, well, there's no air filter. I'm like,
is that the issue?
So yes, because all the dust and stuff, it was collecting up there. And so it collected around something, and it started to have the condensation, and it started freezing something up there, which made the ceiling leak because all the water was coming out. And so water was coming out upstairs as well as outside.
Oh,
so that is why my ceiling was leaking, because of the dust. So he had to blow out everything and clean everything, whatever. So long story short, she has air now.
Oh my goodness.
And I don't have a waterfall from my light fixture anymore, because y'all, I was about to have an electrical fire because the water was literally coming out of the light fixture in the ceiling from the attic. So it was just a hot mess. So that's why we weren't here last week. But Nevertheless, I want to thank all of you guys who for coming back this week. We've talked a lot already, but I want to go ahead and introduce our second co-host here. Millie, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi there. I think that the story that you told was a beautiful, I don't want to say metaphor, but I feel like it was a really good illustration of the way that something simple and just something that slipped your mind can cause something that is way larger and way more expensive than just putting, you know what I'm saying, than just putting it back. And it's just like, it's interesting because with the book that we're doing, Don't Settle for Safe, it talks about how the similar habits in our lives, things that we don't think are super large and super glaring, that
Mm-hmm.
can add to how our experiences and the way that life works out. So I know, just talking about myself, my name is Melissa Ingrid Lawrence, and I am a YouTube lifestyle blogger. I have been super proud of myself. I've been posting more constantly. I didn't post a video last week because things got crazy, but it's ready and I'm going to be posting it tomorrow. And I post just about, my journey to freedom. I'm on a journey to freedom mentally, spiritually, physically, financially, and emotionally. And my adventures, the things that I'm learning, and my journey is going to be documented there. My channel will feature topics that I like to call like the 7 F's of freedom. So faith, family, finances, future, fashion, fitness, and fun.
Mm-hmm.
And so far, the videos have been all of those things. I'd love for you to check it out. Miss Wani, you can take it away.
Oh well, thank you. You guys know I'm Wani, and y'all know my channel is Wani's House. And I want to thank all of you guys for always coming and supporting us. Now, I know this has nothing to do with my regular content dealing with um lifestyle, entertaining, decorating, all those things, fashion that I like to share with you guys. But I also like to talk about things that I think that are empowering to us. And so that's how this kind of came about, because the little Gen Zer here, right here, thought I was just the coolest thing. And she thought that she had found this book and it was gonna enlighten her, and it was gonna solve all of her problems. And all of her aunties came on here and was like, girlfriend, we're gonna debuff all those myths that lady on in that book was telling you. So this is how that started. And so I want to thank all of you guys who come here with us on every Thursday. We typically are here at 7 o'clock, but there's going to be one Thursday we're going to be at 8 o'clock. So it's the third Thursday. What's Thursday? With the second Thursday.
uh, we will
We'll
definitely
let you know.
let you know.
Yes. So one Thursday we'll be here at 8 o'clock. And so that Thursday is tonight for us for 8 o'clock, which is why we're late. So the book that we are discussing now is Don't Settle for Safe. It is a book by Sarah Jakes Roberts. And we are delving into it. So okay, I'll talk about that at the end. So Melissa, go ahead. Go ahead. We're gonna start off where we were 2 weeks ago.
Yes, we're going to hop into the questions. And this chapter 3, is entitled Learn Your Patterns.
Mm.
In the previous chapters so far, we've talked about being able to sort of step outside of yourself and analyze your life and how you played into the decisions that led you to where you are now. So, a lot of what we talked about were
You better tell him he needs to go and do it. You got to have a bill like I did.
oh,
It wasn't that bad, but the damage to my ceilings, that's going to be something. So yeah, he need to go do it.
I'm going to shop the weekend. Yeah, I feel you.
Mm-hmm.
I feel you.
Yes, yes.
So, all right. So, learning your patterns continued. The author speaks about the fact that self evaluation can be challenging because we often confuse our actions with our identity, that we can make a decision that doesn't align with our highest versions of ourselves. That the way to combat being harmfully judgmental is to look upon your past with compassion, understanding, and love. That more often than not, we begin everything with the best intentions.
Mm-hmm.
In what way has being hypercritical, so that's my first question, in
Mm-hmm.
what way has being hypercritical of yourself affected you?
Okay. So for this question, and guys, how we typically do this, you don't. Um, Melissa has written the questions based off the chapter, just in case you have not read the book, but you will still be able to participate by chiming in on
Your life
the
experience, yeah.
yeah your experiences. And so that is the whole premise of this, is for us to really learn from each other. And I'm really big on like community and sisterhood, and learning from each other. Not that we won't make the same mistakes or whatever, but maybe we will tackle different situations differently, kind of open up your mind in different ways of handling things. So um, the question is, in what oh, so, and I put the link in the chat. So if you guys want to come on, you're definitely welcome to come on and to give your thoughts on the questions. If you come on, I would appreciate if you have we limit it to like 2 minutes. But to answer the question, in what way has been hypocritical of yourself affected you? You know what? There are like lately, okay, so not to like blow, toot my own horn or whatever. I know that there are certain things that I do and I do well, right? But when I hear other people like say things about what I do, like at work, or when I have like people over and people are impressed about what I've cooked, how I've decorated or whatever, I will like definitely I kind of shut it down. Or it's like I'm accepting, but I'm not. You know how some people, you are I am my worst critic. So when people come to my house, I can find the slightest little thing, and I'll be like, excuse my house, because I haven't cleaned, because I've known what I haven't done. But when people come in, they're always like, oh my goodness, your house is so beautiful. This is really nice. And I was like, oh my goodness, it's so dirty,
Mm,
right? And so there's certain things it's difficult for me to take, like have like accolades, or have like what is that when people give you compliments, right? But on the other hand, if I do something and I know it's the jam, and you don't say anything about it, I'm gonna call you on it. So you didn't like that? So what's up? All this hard work I've done, and you're not gonna say nothing? You're not even gonna give me the opportunity to be like, oh no, it's just a little something I put together. So
what?
yeah, so so it's like a double-edged sword. But yeah, I'm like, wait a minute, they didn't say nothing about that, and I know that potato salad was good.
I feel like one really good thing that you said, like all of it was good, but I feel like one thing that I can definitely highlight was the fact that I feel like everybody should have that level of confidence in themselves. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's weirdly enough in our society, for some reason, people take self-depreciating jokes as humor. And it's like, I
Mm-hmm.
don't think that's funny. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like,
Yeah.
especially in talking to somebody, like I could compliment something about them and then
Mm-hmm.
they'll turn it around and talk about something that they're not good at or something that I didn't see. And I would
Yes.
like, be able to accept the compliment. And it's not easy, don't get me wrong, especially if you have some type of mental thing where you don't see yourself in the same way that people do.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so that's something that came out. I mean, I think that's a really good quality though. Because
Yeah.
if nobody gonna toot your horn, you need to show up for you every single day.
That's right.
So as far as I'm concerned, in what way has being hypercritical of yourself affected you? Um, it makes me fall into something that it's somebody used a term like like analysis paralysis. I'm somebody
Mm-hmm.
who, don't get me wrong, I get excited about things. And it's like
Mm-hmm.
whenever I learn about something, I want to know how it works. I'm somebody who will take like the deepest dive into it. Like everything I learn, like I'll just, dig in, right? And so I'll get to a point where it's ready for me to like act on it or like do something or like put it to the test.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have a tendency of like over analyzing it so much that I end up talking myself out of doing it in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
Mm-hmm.
so like analysis paralysis. Like you look so much into it that it's just like, okay,
Maybe I shouldn't.
so
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
so
Maybe I should do this. Yes,
you get what I'm
yes.
saying?
Uh
And
huh.
I feel like I'm finally getting to the point where what I realized was I had uncertainty about whether or not I was capable of pulling it off. You
Mm-hmm.
know? So it's just one thing that I had to learn was to be more confident in what I'm doing. And that's the reason why I was able to highlight what you said. You said that you're somebody who is able to point out the things that you do right. You're
Mm-hmm.
willing to congratulate yourself on it, and everybody else should too, right?
Right.
That's what I'm working on right now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm working on
That's
right
it.
now. Oftentimes, people will come up to me and they'll be like, they'll compliment me on things. And then it's just like, it's not like I'll downplay it, but like,
Yes.
I'm like, okay, thank you. But
Yeah.
it's like, yeah.
Yeah. I got it. Yeah. Because I'm like, yeah. And so sometimes with me, it's hard. Although I like it, and I think that's what it is. I don't want people to think that I am like cocky or overconfident or anything. But when people say, "Oh my goodness, you did this so well," whatever, and just to hear it, and I was like, "Oh, well, thank you," or it's almost like so you notice. But like I say, if you don't notice, you don't say anything. I have an attitude. Yeah.
Something else that I just thought of is that another thing that I had to learn is that failing at something doesn't mean that I'm a failure.
Hmm.
I have this like desire to want to do things perfectly the first time, and because I want to be perfect at it and I want to do it the best that I can sometimes talk myself out of doing it altogether because I don't want to risk it.
Oh
But
my
as I
goodness.
said, that's something that I've been working
Yes.
on. I've had
Yes.
to
You
pull the
have to.
trigger on things a lot recently, so it's forced me
Hmm.
to have to do it. So I'm excited about that. Yeah.
That's good. Yes.
Does
So
anybody?
guys,
Yeah.
yes. So guys, if you have um any input on that question, I'm going to highlight it here, and I'm actually going to put it in the comments because I think sometimes when you listen to the questions, it doesn't like really ring what we're asking and something until you read it. So I'm
Mhm.
going to put the question here so you guys can actually read the question. And so if you want to comment on it, you definitely can. Melissa, you want to go to the next part?
Yes, for sure. So, do you find yourself more condemnatory of others, or when that's a SAT word? I almost had a hard time saying it.
I know, huh? I was like, what?
Do you find yourself more condemnatory of others or you when an outcome goes wrong? Are you the Oh, that's the first question. And then the
Mhm.
second question is, are you the same about congratulations when it goes right?
Yes. Um,
So essentially, do you share the blame when things go like do you share the blame or do you put it on yourself when things go wrong? Hey Alila.
hey, Aunt Leela.
Oh, so the question is, do you find yourself blaming yourself only when things go wrong versus sharing the credit when things go right?
um, no, I
Oh.
don't. I don't. Um, because even okay, so this is the way I view things. Because when things go wrong, who know they went wrong? You and maybe one other person. Now they not gonna say anything usually, but everybody else gonna know they went wrong. So you just highlight the things that are positive. Nobody else knows about what did not happen or whatever. And so and I just do the same thing. I just congratulate whatever. I just highlight whatever was right. Nobody knows, you know, that I was an hour late. Who knows? For all they know, that's the time I told you to make sure you got here on time.
Whoa. I feel like I'm this is it's interesting. I've never heard that perspective.
Mm-hmm.
I've never heard that perspective. I will say for myself,
Mm-hmm.
I tend to like I'll take personal responsibility when for what I did wrong in a situation. But I'm also somebody who I'll share the congratulations. I feel like maybe it's like I heard that that's something that people who like put themselves in certain leadership positions do,
Mm-hmm.
where it's just like because well, I guess I'll hold myself accountable for things. And I realized that, yeah, that type of perspective that you have might actually be more profitable in certain situations. You know, obviously
Yes, certain situations, yes.
still taking accountability when like I went wrong. But you know, I'll be the person, according to what you said, I just be snitching on myself. Yeah, you know, I should have
See,
graced.
yes, no, 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 no. So not unless it comes up and someone brings it to my attention
Yeah.
that you noticed. Okay, well yes, but this is what happened or whatever the case may be. But this is what I've done for this. So yes, but yeah, but I'm just not gonna go and just be like, this is what happened. I did it. It was my fault. No, I'm not because won't no necessarily it's something like very bad. No one is gonna know whatever. So yeah, and at the end of the day, nobody's really gonna care.
The funniest thing is I had a revelation about a similar topic, but it wasn't that one. And I realized what I said then applies to this one. I was talking to Lola, my sister, about this, and I was saying that one thing that has helped me grow a lot recently was realizing that not telling people all the truth is not the same thing as lying. Like you don't
Exactly.
owe somebody all the details depending on like the level of trust that you have with them. So
Mm-hmm.
I realized that like not telling everything is not the same thing as lying.
Right. She's a laugh out like yes.
I'm like,
That's
yes,
right.
no, and then the bike was red. So
Yes. Okay. I'm like
I feel like
no.
that's the
I'm
equivalent.
like this just mm-mm, mm-mm. Yes.
Yeah. Did anybody have anything to share?
It doesn't look like no one has had anything to share yet.
Okay, well, we'll just keep it rocking.
Yeah.
What are ways that you can show more compassion, understanding, and love to others and to yourself?
I'm really and I'm very intentional about a lot of things that I do, especially like when people go out of their way, to do things for me, or it could be like the smallest thing. For example, I just had an event in Chicago, and I had to find a dinner location that could fit 25 people for dinner. Some of our group was going to a conference, and I don't know nothing about Chicago, and I'm all on Yelp and looking at reviews and trying to figure stuff out. And so finally, I was like, "Girl, just call the hotel. Call the hotel and ask them if maybe they have a restaurant inside or somewhere that they could recommend." Now, I was really hard on myself because I am known. Okay, I'm sometimes I can be a bit highbrow, but every time my people go to this conference, I have them eating at some of the most amazing places. It's gonna have a view. I had them at this restaurant one time in St. Louis, and the restaurant was right next to the arches, and so they were like, "Oh my goodness!" Another time I had them in Anaheim, and they were looking over the baseball field, and it was just so. I'm like, I have to outdo the last time, right? I have to outdo the last time. And so I was not getting anywhere trying to search for myself. So make a long story short, I called the hotel, and they was like, "Well, let me connect you with the concierge." And her and I talked. She was this really cute sister. I mean, the way we bantered. And so she was like, she gave me a couple of places. And I said, "Well, the chair," I said, one place was like a chain restaurant. I said, "He doesn't like chain restaurants." I think it was Ruth Chris. I said, "He doesn't like those. I need something a little bit. I need you to give it to me." I said, "But I needed to be in within walking distance from the hotel and this and that or whatever." So she gave me this place called, oh goodness, something Lux Cafe. I just sent them something. Anyway, but they went above and beyond for my group. I selected the menu and did all this other stuff for them. So when I came back, everyone was like, "Oh, Miss Lawana, that place was amazing and it was beautiful." Da, 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 da. But so the group, the two people, the guy at the hotel, I mean at the restaurant, and the lady at the hotel, I sent them a nice letter. I said, "But send me your address. Send me an address because I want to send you something. And so today, one reason why I went into the office, I got them this really cute care package because they went above and beyond from my group from
Yeah.
the beginning. And
Yeah.
so, just to say, I appreciate you. I appreciate you um, giving us this private room. I appreciate you accommodating my menus restrictions. And I told you, look at here, that's above my budget. Take that doggone prime rib off. Let's do something else. Maybe we can have some shaved beef. You're putting me over my limit. But they worked with me so much. And so just to, and some of the things they had to stay after hours and to accommodate my group. But I just wanted them to know that I appreciate what they did. And I try to do that with everyone, anyone who who goes, does a little extra or whatever, because they don't have to, they didn't owe me anything.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to make sure that they understood and that I appreciated all their work. And just by giving them a little bit of something, let them know that it's on the way. But and that was just my way of saying, thank you, I appreciate you. And I also put a really nice review on the hotel as well as the restaurants page. I mean, I just really appreciate it. Hey, Al.
Hey, Al.
Super busy girl. I know that's right. Super
What?
busy day. Welcome. Welcome. So what about you?
Your story was great. I got a chance to, whenever people talk, I make like little mental movies. 12 in here and only 3. She's a real
Okay, y'all see that? 12 in here and only 3 thumbs up. What is with this? Please increase those thumbs up. I really appreciate you. Thank you, Stephanie.
Yeah, thank you for sharing your story. I think this, I don't know, maybe smile. So I know that, let me see what the question was.
Oh, I guess
Oh,
I
okay.
should put that in
What are
there.
ways that you can show more compassion and this? Okay. Um, I feel like it could work like this. Put yourself in that person's, I mean, I guess the way that I would do that is I would try my best to put myself in that person's shoes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, put myself in the mental space of somebody who is doing that. Um, so I think it's a really good story. When I was working at Starbucks, maybe like 2 or 3 years ago, I was working at Starbucks in my local area. And there was this one lady, every time she came in, the sweetest woman possible, like always, she made sure to like tip, she made sure to sit down and be like, hey, just like chat and everything like that. She's so dope, right? And one day she comes in, she's hurried. I see her just kind of just like looking unsettled, like the energy wasn't right. And so she has like this really like impatient nature, like she's being short with people, like low key kind of like disrespectful. And then so what happened was, when after I finished making her drink, for everybody else's drink, I just kind of like put it on the counter for them to pick it up. When it finally came time to hers, I handed it to her, and when she went to grab it, I like held it and I looked in her eyes and I was like, how are you doing today? And
Mm-hmm.
she broke down crying. And I was
Oh.
like, because, and then after just talking to her and everything like that, her son was playing football, and in his most recent game, he got tackled and he had a compound fracture in his leg, and
Mm.
so he was in the hospital. He's been in the hospital, and it must have happened the day before. Yeah, she said that it happened the day before, and she said that he was in that they gave him a lot of pain medication, but it's like it's not doing anything for his pain, and like he's like in so much pain that like he can't even like talk.
Mm. Mm. Mm.
And she was just saying, it was just making her feel so helpless because her son, like, she couldn't do anything to help him, and she was asking the doctors, and they just can't give him any more pain medication for his body and his weight and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, I kind of, I talked with her, I encouraged her, I prayed for her and everything like that. And then after she left, like, what settled in my spirit was just the fact that nobody wakes up wanting to be the Cruella de Vil of another person's story.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Mm-hmm.
nobody wants to be the Wicked Witch of the West, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So it's just oftentimes taking yourself out of your shoes and putting yourself in the shoes of another person and
Mm-hmm.
like really taking the time to ask. That's what that moment taught me. Because I mean I didn't think about what I was doing when I was doing it. It just happened. And
Right. Right.
me to have more compassion for people because I don't know what they're going through.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's kind of like being on the highway and somebody cutting you off and you're thinking you're taking it personally, like they're doing this to me, but no, like there's a sick kid in the car and they're trying to get them to the hospital. Like life, you don't know what's going on in people's lives.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
I think that's one way to show more compassion and understanding and love to others and yourself. And it reminds me of the scripture where it says, where the Pharisees asked Jesus what the most important commandment is. And he says to love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind. And equally important is to love your neighbor as you do yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, what that means is first you have to learn to love God. Once you learn to love God, God will teach you how to love yourself. And once you learn how to love yourself, then from that love you can love other people with. So that's what that reminds me of. Yeah.
All right. I'm sorry, y'all. It's past my bedtime. I'm sorry.
Thank
Okay.
you for being a trooper though.
I'm
Thank
a
you for being a
trooper.
trooper.
I'm a trooper.
She's looking for ways to increase more energy.
Michelle, um, Stephanie, I want to call her Michelle. Why?
Yeah.
Stephanie says, I have to realize that I'm not superwoman. Yes. And yeah, and that can be difficult because when you are a wife, mother, sister, daughter, whatever, of course you are pulled in 30 million directions, and
Mhm.
you feel like you have to do it all. But what did I say? What my favorite word is?
No.
No. That is my favorite word.
You want to
If
hear
I,
something about the word no?
what's that?
You know how to say no in Spanish?
No. Right.
No.
No.
In both languages, it's just no.
It's just no. Yeah, like no.
Um,
You're so silly.
um, and so the next one is this: in a society that appears to value individual achievement over collective success, any behavior that leaves you exposed are considered unnecessary risks. With a self concept like this, ideas like vulnerability can seem more foolish than wise. After all, it is easier to protect oneself from intruders by building a fence. However, it can also serve as a prison to the person within its confines. SJR offers an alternative way of viewing vulnerability. That attempting to forge relationships without being vulnerable is like eating food with a cracked tooth. You
Hmm.
can eat a full meal, but with the amount of pain you're sure to feel, it won't be worth it.
Mm-hmm.
One of the many benefits of being hmm, what was I trying to say here? Benefits of being of being selectively vulnerable. Get that out of here. There we go. One of the many benefits of being selectively vulnerable is that it encourages others to be vulnerable with you.
Mm-hmm.
So the next question is, what is your personal definition of vulnerability?
My personal definition of vulnerability, especially for me, is put this here, is like being open. And being open to me could be many things. One way of, I think, of me allowing people close to me is when I welcome them into my home and I invite them to things to my house. That's closeness to me. And so that means I trust you enough to allow you in my space. um I love you, or admire you enough to want to cook, or whatever the case may be, and I like your company. But but also, it also to me means that I have boundaries, right? Because even with all of that and those types of people, I still have boundaries for them. So it's only so much anybody is going to get, right? And And I just think that just comes from like experiences, you know, you know, with life. So I have to allow boundaries, but I do want to be open for people to get to know me. But like I said, you only get that one chance, and then that's it. But,
I feel that I'm definitely similar. Um,
mhm,
I let the way that people show up for me
mhm,
determine how much of myself I give to them,
mhm.
because not everybody's entitled to all of me, and not everybody knows how to handle all of me.
That's
And
right.
so,
Mhm,
the person that I am right now, it just reminds me of another question that we had maybe like a week or two back, where
mhm,
I asked about people like describing what their garden looks like and what like their inner,
mhm,
if they could describe it visually or like illustrate it, what would it look like?
mhm.
And for me, because as I said, I'm in that stage where like I feel like the seed is about to sprout.
Mhm.
Like there's so much that got worked on underneath the
Under
surface
the
and
surface.
underneath the
Mhm,
ground, like all of this foundational work that I've been doing,
mhm,
that the person on the I'm looking forward to the person that I I wake up excited every day, because the person that I'm meeting every single day, I'm liking her more and more and more. And it's
mhm,
not to say that I didn't like myself before, but because I've been intentional about the woman that I've been developing, I'm
mhm,
looking forward to every day because I'm becoming more and more like her. I get more
mhm,
opportunities to show up in that way. And
mhm.
so I need to protect that.
Right,
I need to protect that
right.
because the wrong influences can really, like, mindset is everything. So it's like guard your heart above all, because out of it the issues of life flow. Like
Mhm.
if you don't guard this
Yes.
vulnerability, if you don't guard this, this is all
Right.
this is all you get in life. This is the only thing you get.
That's so true. Stephanie says being open and letting them get close, but not too close. I totally agree. And when you were speaking, it made me think of something my great grandmother used to say to me all the time, because when you're young, everybody was your friend, and so everybody, I would talk about this person and whatever, and she was like, who is that? I say, my friend, my friend. And so she was like, Wani, everybody is not your friend. And I was just shocked, and I can still feel that, thinking about that. She was like, everybody is not your friend. Everybody is not gonna like you. And I was like, huh, what? You don't like the Wani? Why would you not like the Wani? What
I
is
like the
that?
one.
Okay,
Everything
why
likes
would
the
you
one.
not like the Wani? And I was like, what? Why would she say that? But then as I've grown older, and you have experience with people who you thought were your friends, and they do things to you, and or disappoint you, or you have higher expectations on the friendship than they did, right? And so those types of situations really form, how you deal with certain people, right? And so as I became older, I was like, you know what? Everybody is not my friend. And that's when you learn the word acquaintance and other things
Mm.
as you get a little bit older. And then you separate what acquaintance is and your friends are, whatever, because that definition itself can be varied depending on who you're asking, right? And so, but then I came to the realization, and when you said that, and it just made me think about when I used to be like, everybody not gonna like me because I'm not for everybody. I'm
Mm.
not. I'm not, and that's okay, because at the same time, I don't like everybody. It may be have not. It may not have anything to do with anything that they may have done or whatever. Some people have personality traits that may not jive with me. And I may have personality traits, and I'm sure I do, that don't jive with everybody else. Everybody don't like me. So when I thought about that, and then I think about the younger me was like, what? You don't like Lonnie? What's wrong with you? You're not my friend? What? Used to hurt my feelings. Now, girl, I told you I don't care. All right, cool. That's all right. It's okay.
She said, "Do
So
you player?"
good.
I mean, yeah, I feel like a similar evolution had to happen. Actually, let me think. When I was, so I didn't really have, this is gonna, okay, so growing up, there were a lot of people that I was acquainted with,
Mm-hmm.
but not many people that I would just be like, that's my friend. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so I
Mm-hmm.
feel like I was maybe on the other side of that. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like I'd be in school and like there'd be like the people that I interact with when I go to school. And then
Yes.
like but I never really had as many like friends that it was I wasn't really there wasn't a lot for me and them to really like talk about, especially in my younger grades. Like I was
Mm-hmm.
interested in stuff that they weren't really
There
interested
were,
in.
yes,
I
yes.
think I talked about this before because you were mentioning a similar situation with your daughter
Yes,
and
yes.
how, because I know for me it wasn't like I didn't like them or they didn't like me. It's just it was kind of like two aliens just like
It
meeting.
was. It was. Because
But I
her
think
friends,
yeah, I spent a
her
lot of
friend,
time with adults
yes. That's what,
and I got
yes.
along with them. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like when I go to talk to them and it's like I want to talk about, like, let's say back then I was really into like politics, right? So
Mm-hmm.
like I swore I was gonna be the first African American president, female African American president of the United States of America.
Mm-hmm.
And the idea changed when I got to college and I got to see what all the bureaucracy really looks like. I see why, former President Barack Obama's hair just
Was just gray.
from the beginning.
Wow. Yes.
And it seems like anybody they put in public office, like it's just,
Yeah.
but
It sucks the life out of them.
so back then I was really into into like politics and just the idea of it. And so when the Arizona SB 1040 laws were passed, I think I might have talked about this
Mm-hmm.
before.
Mm-hmm.
I sent a letter and I was just like, this doesn't seem right because, at the end of the day, it's going to attach itself to one specific race over another one. Like
Mm-hmm.
nobody's going to stop a white person walking down the street and be like, "Are you really an American citizen?" And they
Yes.
come from anywhere.
Yes.
So
Yes.
in my neighborhood recently, I walked past this guy and I said something, and then he said, like, I'm assuming he said in like Ukrainian, I don't really speak English or something like that. So
Uh-huh.
I was just like, nobody would have stopped him and asked him for his papers. So I
Yes.
mean,
Yes.
they're going to go after black and brown people, and I was like, that's the equivalent of stop and frisk in New York at this point. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I was, unless they and the way that the law was, they could stop you if you looked suspicious or had a reasonable doubt that you weren't from this country. I'm like, okay. So that's what I was into. People my age, they were talking about, like Bad Girls Club maybe or something. You know what I'm saying? Like reality TV, like South Hill, and I was like, I wasn't even interested in that.
You said,
And so
yes.
when I went to school, like I would be like, hey, what's up? Like I go to lunch, we might chat about something, but I was pretty much detached until I went to college, no, high school, and then that's when I started to like, because I feel like people kind of caught up at that point.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
People kind of caught up at that point, so I could have some sort of conversation. But yeah.
Yes. That's interesting. Sunny Day say some people can take me at 65%, and some of my friends can't take that. I know that's right. Leela said, years ago, a young person asked me why all of my friends were so positive. I explained to her that I'm slow to warm up to people because I have to fill them out. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people like that. Now, I'm not really one like that. Um, I think, but I'm also not one who will just go up to people and just can have a conversation. I'm like, yeah, and because I know, like, I have a couple of girlfriends, even my cousin. When we go into a room, we don't know anybody. When we leave, she knows everybody. I might know one person.
That's me.
I'll know one person, but
Yeah.
she was like, oh, I met this person and this person, this person, this person, and I was like, we've been in the same space for the same amount of time. How you work the room like that? And I just was just picked on this one person, and it's not that I don't want to, but I don't know. I just don't feel the need to work the room.
Oh yeah, I mean it's natural. I'm the kind of person like when I was in Maryland, I'd be sitting down eating, and then like I'd strike. I sat at the bar and like I struck up a conversation with a couple that was there. Like I'll talk to the bartender. I was actually talking to almost everybody. Like I'll go out and it's like I'm like, okay. So funny enough, right? So when I was in college, I take the VEX. So it's like the Vern Express. It takes you from the Mount Vernon campus on GW on the George Washington University's campus. It'll take you to the Foggy Bottom campus, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so one night I was coming back from, I think it must have been like a school party or something like that. And so we're on the bus, and for some reason I was feeling the GW fight song. Like I will get crunk to an anthem. There's something about an anthem that gets me so amped for some reason. But then again, it was written for that. It was written to inspire people, to get them, psyched.
Yeah.
So, I was on the bus and I just like started singing the song. And then people just started singing it with me, and we were just singing the fight song on the bus. And
Oh my
it
goodness.
ended by the time we pulled up. And once we pulled up, everybody was like, "What?" And then we just kind of started. It was a party. I'm not gonna lie. I started a party.
Lisa, Melissa said, "I am the party. Follow me."
But it's just like, I don't know, because it's just like I like to have, I like to have fun. Now, I don't do this all the time, but as far as chatting people up, yeah, when I'm out, you can ask my mom. We'll be in
Mm-hmm.
line waiting to go eat someplace, and I'll just strike up a conversation with the people around me. But it's like I meet the most interesting people that way.
Mm-hmm.
But something that I thought was really cool that I just remembered that I heard recently that I thought was dope was that we get mad at people when we show up, when we meet,
Mm-hmm.
for an agreement that we had in our mind that they never agreed to.
Yes, I agree with that.
Like, we sign people up for things that they never signed themselves up for.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, because when you meet, you're shaking hands, you have an idea of what you think this is going to be.
Right.
And they have a completely different mind. You have no idea what somebody's thinking.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it's just, I felt like that kind of opened my mind like this, because I was just like, yeah, it was all up here.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes, that's good though. And because having that type of
I tried to hide it.
I was trying to hold it down for you, but I couldn't hold it down, It reminds me of those comedians, because it's just like, I wonder how they don't laugh.
I
What's
know.
going on? Like, I would be dying laughing.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
And then, the last question is this. At times, guarding yourself from others can make one cold-hearted. How do you show compassion while keeping yourself safe?
Okay. Um. Like I said, I open myself up, but I'm not fully open. And until I'm like relaxed around people, and so sometimes I don't think I have ever come off as being like cold or anything, because I will speak. There's some people, they'll be in a room and they won't say anything to anyone. So um but you'll see, once the time goes by, I'm not as quiet, or I become more active. So I don't know if there's any time that I can actually say um that I make people can make one cold hearted. I don't think I'm like cold hearted in that type of way. And I think I showed compassion a lot, but that's the one thing, because it might be in what I think I am showing can be different from another person's interpretation, you know? So, um, so that might not be what they need. What I am giving is what I think they want as compassion. And it could be just a simple, how you doing? Or you know what I mean? And I think, oh, well, when I get there, I'm gonna take this um nice gift, or whatever the case may be. And what's in the box, they don't even care about. And the only thing they really wanted, maybe with a phone call or something like that. So yeah,
You
I
know
hope
what?
that I hope that made sense.
It does. It does. It reminds me of something that my old pastor used to say in Jersey City.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it was the worst thing that you can give somebody is what you think they need and not what they actually need.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it falls in line with what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
what was that comment? I'm the quiet one at first until I feel comfortable.
And I have a quick story, because so, like, when I give a man still only three, Okay, really, only three. Look at that. I think we should have more than three, y'all. Give us these thumbs up. So another another I have another example, and it's kind of fun. It's gonna be really quick. It was Christmas, and my sister had broken up with her boyfriend, and I was trying to overcompensate because I was like, oh my goodness, how can he break up with her before the holidays? That is so cold. And so I go out and I buy her all these gifts that I think are amazing. So I bought her like a bathtub. It was like a spa that goes into the bathtub. I bought her um, the little mini fountains, and it had the little waterfall in there. I bought her some. Oh, I bought her these sharp boots. I bought her all these things because I'm trying to make her feel better for Christmas, right? So she opens up her gift.
Mhm.
I wish I could find the picture, but she opens up her gifts and she's like, "Oh, thank you. Oh, I thank you. I like this, and uh yes, it's really nice." And she wasn't excited about anything, and I'm like, what, hold up, I need you to show a little bit more excitement. I need you to jump around or whatever, because once again, I'm creating an experience over here. You got your spa stuff, and I
Yeah,
got you some turbans, and you have the
yeah,
little fountain to go in the
yeah.
room. So when she gave me my gift, she gave me an electric can opener. And then she had the audacity to be like, come on, pose, take a picture. I didn't want to curse her out because she had just broken up with a boyfriend. So I have this, I'm about to find a picture and post it. And I'm standing up like this
Holding an electric can opener.
with the electric can opener. But I said that to say, so a couple of weeks went by and we had this argument.
Mhm.
And I tell her how I felt like she was so ungrateful about the gifts that I got with her, and I was trying to make her feel better. And I was like, and you showed me nothing. I went out the way for you, and you give me a freaking can opener, and you wanted me to be excited about it. And so, you know what she said? She was like, you gave me, what did she say? You gave me um, a pad that farted in the tub, because she was talking about the spa. And she said, and you gave me some rocks in a bowl. And I'm like, rocks in a bowl? Rocks? I didn't give you rocks in the bowl. You did. You gave me rocks in the bowl, because that's what she called my fountain. She didn't realize that it was a fountain. She said, I gave her rocks in a bowl. And I was like, oh my, I said, you uncouth heifer, that's a fountain. But I was just like, so my
Oh, yeah.
expectations of her excitement and trying to overcompensate, that wasn't even important to her. Everything that I thought was amazing gifts that I would have loved, she found nothing. She was like, you gave me a pad that farts and rocks in a bowl. I gave her other things too. She liked the boots, but I was like, are you kidding me? And so one of my other girlfriends, she was like, well, she don't want that fountain, I do, because it was nice. It was just,
But it just goes to show, like, we don't all see the world the same way.
we
Like,
don't.
you saw a luxurious experience. I'm trying to recreate this for you. And this is what I'm giving you. And she was like, you gave me, she said, rocks in a bowl. Like,
Rocks in a bowl.
rocks in a bowl. That's hilarious.
I'm gonna have to find that.
Farts in water?
She said, I gave her a pad that farts in water.
Did she even, like, did she sit down in it?
I'm not,
Or
because
did she just put it in the tub and just watch it?
I mean, yes, I think that's where she, and I was like, what
Oh.
the heck? I was just like, oh my gosh, yeah.
Oh my goodness, that's hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Moving on to the next one. When you see a shift in your mood, don't just accept it for what it is. Look at the circumstances and situations that caused it to happen. You'll often find that it's similar situations presenting themselves in different ways. Some questions she encourages the reader to consider are: Are there certain moments in your life where you felt shame, pain, or embarrassment? So these are the questions that she tells you to run through in your mind when you run into
Mm-hmm.
a situation like this. That's the
Mm-hmm.
first question.
Mm-hmm.
And so, are they tied to specific memories?
Mm-hmm.
If so, if they are tied to specific memories, what have you learned from those encounters? In circumstances where you had a hand to play in the mess, why did this happen to you? And then lastly, how do you make sure this never happens again?
Right. Leela, she made me do it. She made me do
That's where I started dying laughing too. That was hilarious.
it. So, are there certain moments in your life where you felt shame, pain, or embarrassment? And in these certain, yes, because certain people can bring out certain emotions out of you, right?
Mhm,
And so, for those types of people or whatever, everyone and some you know your triggers, but sometimes people can know your triggers also.
mhm,
And so, my thing is I try to stay away from anybody who is going to like try to alter my mood.
mhm,
And all the time it don't work,
mhm.
but that is how I try to, that's another way of me like shielding, myself. I try to stay away from all that because I really like to have my, to be my jovial self all the time. But there are just some people who they don't get off until you get mad. So
That's big facts. That's big facts. And then
hmm,
for those people, you just kind of gotta stay away from them, honestly.
definitely, definitely.
And then you don't always owe them an explanation as to why. That's something I learned.
Yes.
That's something that I learned. I don't owe people an It's weird, right? In one sense, I just, like from what I was saying, like in certain
You,
situations, especially like I feel like when I know boom, I got you. When I know that I did something wrong, I'm quick
hmm,
to own up to it. But if
yes.
it's something that somebody else is doing, it's just I'll just kind of let you go. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Like it's not really like the fade away. I'll just stop responding.
Yes, that's
I'll
me.
just
I'll
stop
stop responding.
responding because it's just like if I say like no, you're gonna be like why, and I gotta tell you why. You know what I'm saying?
We don't want to do all of that.
And I figured they gonna live their life. They gonna be all right.
Yeah, all the
It was
time.
good before I came in their life. You know what I'm saying? They gonna be good. Because I'll tell you, sometimes certain conversations can be awkward.
Yes, a lot of conversations that can be awkward. Hmm.
And then the next one is this: your habits are the tools used for the construction or destruction of your life. The biggest favor you can do for yourself to identify the patterns in your life and learn from the necessary lessons from the negative consequences and learn from the negative consequences as soon as possible. What are some of your habits for success?
Um, like I stated before, um, I will celebrate my accomplishments, um, even if no one else celebrates. And everybody don't have to celebrate because it's my accomplishment. It's about me. And so if you jump on the bandwagon, good. If you don't, it's all right. The party's still happening. And so I had to um, learn that because I can't expect everyone to celebrate me because my victory isn't your victory. That's my victory, right? Now,
Or
although I will be the one to celebrate everybody else, but I can't have the same expectations that everyone is the same, right? And
that's big.
so that's me. And
Mhm.
so regardless, of whatever happens, I celebrate my successes. Um, and I try to celebrate other people's successes also.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Yeah. Let me see.
What
I
Aunt
think
Leela said today, a young man told me about how some people make him angry. I told him God is going to send those personalities into his life again and again until he learns. That is so true. Oh my goodness, how to deal with that anger Aunt Leela, I totally agree with that statement, because I also believe that people who are in like abusive relationships or have like bad relationships and things like that, or they attract certain people, you continue to attract and be around those same type of people until you learn how to handle them. So and so that's why I'm like, I just say this to some of my girlfriends who were single back in the day, but I'm like, all of your guys you dated, they seem the same, they had the same personality traits. Look at that. That's a big, what is that, a fly?
Yeah. I mean, if it decides to come back around, I might have to handle that because it's not landing on my face. That's all I have.
Okay. And so, and I was like, you need to figure out, you look inward to see what is it about you that attracts those types of people. And so
Mhm.
when people make you angry, you have to like, okay, what about this is making me angry? What
Mhm.
is it about what they did, what they said, how they are is making me angry? And then learn how to tackle those so that you can move to the next one. Because otherwise, it's like you on a wheel. You're gonna keep repeating the cycle until you learn from it. I totally agree with that.
I feel the same way. I feel like something that I definitely want to add is, oh yes, I fade away. I don't
Mm-hmm.
want to explain myself. Yeah. Um,
Mm-hmm.
let me see. Okay. If it comes back around again, then I'm just gonna have to handle it.
It's gone.
It's just a little too distracting. It's got to go. So, I try my best not to kill them. I'll try to put it in a container and take it out. But I feel like it's the same thing, the fadeaway, because, but it's interesting. I heard a different perspective recently, where the person was saying that at times, because we choose not to do that, we're robbing them of we're robbing them of a lesson. And I was just like, okay, but I feel like, oh, yeah. I was thinking about it from a different perspective because of that type of mindset. But,
Mm-hmm.
you know, they're meant to learn that lesson, but just maybe not for me.
It's not for you, and it might not be for you to teach them. It's not a
Exactly.
lesson for you to teach. Yes.
Um, and let me see.
The next one.
Yeah. What habits do you think contribute to destructive results? Oh, what habits do you think contribute to destructive results in your life?
What question? Where is that one?
It's right under what are some of your habits for success?
Oh, I looked right at it. Girl, I did not see none of those words were what you just said. I'm like, what? Okay, it's just my eyes.
You okay over there?
No.
You sure the AC working?
Okay. Which habits do you think contribute to destructive results in your life? Um, I think one habit that I do have is that I have a tendency there, as much as I'm gonna let you know how I feel about something, but there are some times where I don't, and I hold things in, and then when it comes out, it's gonna come out however it's gonna come out. I don't care about how it's said. I don't care about your feelings. I don't care about any of that. But I am a true proponent of, and that's why I try not to. I try to be very upfront because I don't like carrying nothing on me. You know what I mean? And you feeling heavy. But there are times when I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna let that pass. I'm gonna let this pass. And then there's certain times that you're just like, okay, we're not about to let any more passes. You don't get any more passes, girlfriend. You get no more passes, Mister. It is about to the what is that? The crossing guard is about to show out. So um, I think that can be destructive because at the end of the day, you know, you're hurting yourself because you're feeling, you get all these anxiety, and you start feeling heavy. The other person are not feeling anything. That's just like I tell a lot about people who hold grudges, you
Mm-hmm.
know. And I'm like, why are you holding a grudge? The other person don't even know you mad, and you're around here feeling a certain type of way. Get over it. Let it go. Say whatever you have to say, and let it go. And
Mm-hmm.
so I don't hold grudges. I do majority of the time say whatever I'm saying, and then I'm done. I don't harbor no feelings for it. We cool or whatever, and I go on. But there are times when I let it go, but then when it comes out, I'm not responsible for how it comes out.
I feel like I get what you're saying. Something that something that came in my mind when you were speaking about, people bringing out certain aspects, or just, you learning how to learn. I'm gonna get to this spot. I'll be right back.
Mhm. So, guys, let me know. I'm gonna put the question here in the chat while Millie is out there getting rid of the fly. Which habits do you think contribute to destructive results in your life? And are you one who holds grudges? Are you one do you just shut down and you just keep everything in? Because we all deal with like I believe there's things that we just don't want to tackle or to confront. And so for those types of situations, how do you handle them? Because that could be very destructive. You know, it could be a thing where you were raised a certain type of way and you don't feel like you could say things to different people or whatever. And so, because it's a respect thing or whatever the case may be. So yeah, I'm interested to hearing what you guys have to say. Did you get rid of it?
I didn't get a container. I just kind of like went like this.
You and your save the animals and the
So
insect person. I just can't.
there was so many like little like it was an experience. I don't think I've ever done that before. But outside it's outside and it's safe. It's doing its thing. You know what I'm saying? It probably just got lost in here. And so,
I'm gonna tell it. Wait, I need to tell this story because Millie never seems to amaze me. So a couple of years ago, when Puda came back home, we had the party, welcome back party for Puda. Remember? And we was out and we was getting the backyard ready. Remember that night? And
yeah.
so Millie goes, no, V goes and moves the planter. And what was underneath the planter, y'all? An anaconda. So I ran in the house, V ran in the house, and we screamed in the house. Mr. B is like, it's probably a little bitty snake. It is not nothing big. So Mr. B saw the snake and he was like, well, that's a good sized snake. Well, Crocodile Millie over here and was like, no, don't kill it. I'm going to get a piece of cardboard and I'm going to take it and over to the ravine. Now, the ravine from my house is about a good 50 feet. Don't you think it's about a good 50 to 100 feet from the backyard?
I don't. I'm not good with stuff like that. Maybe.
Well, I was, because it was too doggone far to be walking with a snake. So she had this cardboard with I think you had the planter still on top, right?
I think
Oh, because
so.
I had ran in the house. So I don't know how you did that. That was my envision. So how did you get the snake over to the ravine?
If I told you right now, I'd be lying. I'm gonna be honest. I don't really remember.
Oh my goodness. Well, the end of the moral of the story is Millie would not let us kill the snake. Millie took the snake.
No. That sounds like me. No.
You did not. She took the snake and dumped it over in the ravine. I just couldn't. I just could. She was like, no, we can't kill it. I'll get rid of it. I was like, what?
It's like, so don't get me wrong. Like, there's certain things that I will kill, like an ant or like.
Oh, an ant. Oh, yeah, something that can really kill you.
It's just I don't like the feeling of like, because like I feel like once it gets to a certain size, you can hear it. Like you can hear it dying, and I was like, yeah, I'm good. I don't want to. Yeah, I'll be okay. So it's like I don't want to see it die. That's because then I realized I can put my like. What if I was in that position? Let me outside play. I
Of
got
the
walk.
ant?
Like what
Of
if
the
I
snake?
what if I
I
was
can't.
what would his mother think when he didn't come home that night?
He didn't make it.
No, Melissa helped him make it.
No.
No, because my mom, you guys were talking about just macheteing it. I was like, oh no, I do not want to be a part of that.
Yes, because Derek was going to go and get the shovel. Yes,
I
and
did
you
not
would.
want to see that. I was
I
not going
can't.
to be
I
able
don't
to
because
accomplish
yes, because V and I ran in the house. We were screaming in the living room. You, yeah. Stephanie says sometimes I shut down, but if I don't say it, then I might snap. Definitely. I
that.
can't with you, girl. A girl, okay, for real. She around here saving anacondas. I just couldn't do it.
He just seemed nice. What? We told you about that one time that we had a turtle in here for
I
like 3
remember
days.
the turtle. Yes.
Yeah, my brother has that thing too. He saw a turtle, he looked at it, they had a connection, so he
Oh
picked
my.
up the turtle and took it home.
Oh my goodness. Lola has it also.
Uh, yeah, yeah,
Oh my
yeah.
goodness. Oh
There was
no.
this time when I lived in Jersey City. There was this bird's nest that fell, and the mother, I don't know what happened. Oh yeah, and then there was those times that we got those cats too. So it's like,
Oh heck no.
okay, so I'll tell the cat story. Forget about the birds. So the cat story, right? So we're walking to school in Jersey City. The way that everything is a public transportation, you're pretty much walking everywhere. It's in the South that everybody needs a car to do anything. Like you want to
Mm-hmm.
get toilet paper, you need to
You
hop in
need to get in the car. Yes.
Jersey, you're walking everywhere because you got corner stores, you got places that sell things, so it's like it's easier to move around like that. And so we're walking up the street. It must have been in the middle of winter. It had just snowed really badly the day before. We're walking down the street to the bus stop. It'd be like 7:30 in the morning, right? So we're walking, and as I'm walking down the street, mind you, it's me. I'm the oldest. I got my little sister, I got my little brother. And I hear this sound, and I'm like, "What is that?" So we stop and we go look, and there's like this kitten that was like left out in the cold. And so what we did is we walked home, and we put the kitten in the hallway so that we could go to school. Okay, up north, the way that apartments are, you walk in through the main area and then like you can go into like the different apartments. So
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't like we were putting him inside of our apartment. We just put him in some place warm. I made sure I got like a blanket and put it around him so he could have
Put
stayed warm.
my good blanket around that nasty cat.
But yeah, me and my siblings have been saving animals and just
Oh
like
my gosh. That is too funny. Yeah.
the
The-
mother just the mother just didn't come back for it. So I
I
was just
didn't
like,
know.
okay,
Cause she wouldn't have known to come to your house.
where was she?
She probably went to go get him something to eat.
We probably stole that cat.
Yeah, yeah, you did.
We probably
Look
stole
at your
that
mama.
cat.
Yes. She was distraught when she came back and her baby was gone. You're a cat snatcher.
Perspective. Perspective.
Thank you. She said she called a friend of hers to go release that nasty cat. Exactly.
Well, don't get me started on her and this cat situation.
She
This
didn't like
cat
cats.
situation. You know why I'm so good at taking out like cats and stuff like that? There was this one time a cat got in the house, right? So
Mhm.
it was, I think we were either on our way to church or we had come back from church. And so we're sitting in there, we're talking or something like that, and we just hear like a meow, meow. My mom flips.
No,
She
she.
hops on top of the couch. She's running. She's like, what is that? What is that? So I had to, I'm the one allergic to animal fur.
Uh-huh.
I'm the one that's actually allergic to animal fur. I'm the one that takes the cat out the house.
You take the cat out the house.
I take
And
the
then
cat out
you
the house.
welt up.
Oh, nah, I was straight. I wash my hands. It's mostly when like I touch my face and I'm
Face,
just like,
uh-huh.
because it's like I'll play with Oliver, right? If I play
Right.
with Oliver and like I forget and I go like this,
Uh-huh.
it's over. Like if you go back and watch this, like I touch my face a lot. So it's like if I touch an animal, it's a wrap because I know
Yes.
I can't stop myself. I was on top of the table. She was on top of the table. She was on top of the dining room table.
That
Yeah.
is
Oh my goodness, yes, the cops got called for another house in our neighborhood in Jersey City. Like down here, houses are spaced apart. Up north, if they was at a party, they would quite literally be doing the two step. Like there's two
oh my.
steps only. So what happened was the cop hears this, and so he runs over, and he's just like this. He got his gun, and he got two cops got their guns drawn, and they're coming inside the house, and
They
they're like,
came in your house?
what's going inside our apartment? Yeah, there was just like, what's going on? The door was open. The guy said, what's going on? What's going on? And she was like, it's a cat. It's a cat.
Hold up. The cop said the boy was a female cop and a male cop. They had their guns in their hand. They was like, are you serious? We should take the kids from you.
Just because she was freaking out, everybody else was. So I was like, somebody got to take this cat out of
And
here.
the one who is allergic is trying to get the cat out.
That is hilarious.
I'm on the table with my church dress over my head.
Yes, she pulled the dress off.
I was up on the window, but my dress was over my head.
That is too funny.
I actually remembered. Oh my goodness, yes. She brought her dress up over her head to protect her face and was trying to go out the window.
No.
You live on the second floor.
Oh my goodness.
The cops was like, are you serious?
No, it was the third floor. We lived on the third floor.
Yeah. Are you serious? And
But
you
for a cat.
take the kids from you.
For a cat. I
You
can't.
know what? I realized, you know what? That's when, because I had this conversation with somebody recently. I was saying that some things that people are just like skilled at and just so really good at, it's because at one point in time in their life, not mastering that skill meant life or death. Like, for example, right? If somebody's like really good at like being compassionate, oftentimes it's because they've been through so much that like they want that for themselves, so they give it to other people. You know? So it's like in that moment, I was like, "Damn, my mom about to go out this window. Let me get this cat out of here.
Get this cat up out of here. She about to jump."
I don't know. Maybe she was watching a little too many cartoons with us and thought that Blues could do, we can too. She's and did you want to? I know we said we were going to do about an hour and a half.
Do
you want to go until the half?
Yeah, till what 9:30?
Yeah.
I
mean, we have about like 8 more minutes, right? Yeah, 9:30. Okay, cool. So, speak to replace thoughts that don't serve you. Oh, another thing that she said, so the last theme that she talked about, each of those questions have to do with the theme of something that she talked about. And so the last one was, whenever you have thoughts that come into your mind that don't align with where you see yourself going, be intentional about replacing the thought in your head with one that serves you. And it just it reminds me of the scripture in Corinthians. It says, for we cast down every evil and vain imagination that would exalt itself above the knowledge of God. We take every thought captive and hold it obedient to Christ Jesus, right? So the way that I interpret that is this: just because I have a thought doesn't mean that it's all my thoughts. And that's not to say that I believe that like I'm schizophrenic or anything like that, but it's more along the lines of, hey, Miss Janine.
Hey, Miss Janine, we miss you, lady. How you doing?
I did miss you.
Hey, Stacy. Welcome. Thanks for checking in. We're good. How are you doing?
Let me see. So I'm gonna be honest, I don't remember where I was. But replacing thoughts that don't serve you. So for example, right? I would say not every thought in my mind is my thought. The thought that's mine is the one that's bringing me closer to the version of myself that I desire to be. What would that woman's thoughts be like? You know? Because it's just like, I'll put it like this, right? I feel like oftentimes whenever I've spoken to people, they've said that, like life is about finding yourself. And I feel like in my mind is different because life is about figuring out who you want to be and then working every day to become that person.
Right.
Like you don't just wake up as the person that you want to be. It takes effort. Anything worth doing takes effort, right? And so for me, one of those things that really helped was, being able to identify which thoughts are actually like secret agents. You know what I'm saying? Like in my mind, I'm on the dun 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 dun. Like, I'm Charlie's Angels out here. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my goodness, no.
listen, I'm about to get my license too, so
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna be out here doing nothing crazy. But the
Okay.
woman has to be able to defend herself, and I do believe in the Second Amendment. You know what I'm saying? It's a great amendment. Bear arms, and I
Yes.
will say, get them before they take it away. Take it, if you believe in that, do it. But as for me, I will be armed. So, and so chapter 4, we're gonna move. Oh, unless anybody did you have something?
Mm-mm.
Okay,
Who
cool.
was that? Your mom?
Oh no.
Oh, because you said I thought you was talking to someone else, not me. Go ahead.
Okay. So chapter 4, know your roots. Ooh, somebody might be making cookies.
Mm.
It smells like cookies.
Uh-oh.
I'm about to eat. So, know your roots. It will come to no surprise that it will come to no surprise to you that there are certain diseases that a person can become more likely to develop predisposed as a result of other members of their family having it. One may be new to you is that a certain behavioral trait can be inherited from one generation to the other.
Mm.
Despite someone being separated at birth from their biological family. Okay, let me reread that. One may be new to you one that may be new to you is that certain behavioral traits can be inherited from one generation to another, despite someone being separated at birth from their biological family. Being predisposed to a disease is not something we can control, i.e., similar to the loaded gun placed in the hands of an individual. Our lifestyle, what we can control, can be the determining factor as to whether or not we experience the disease, i.e., pull the trigger. So, with that in mind, the question is, are there any of your behaviors that you can easily point out as being one that you've learned from your family? Like you're like, when I do that, I sound just like for example, somebody might say something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I sound just like, my mother or something like that. Do you have any of those traits where you're just like, oh, I sound just like, X, Y, and Z?
No, I don't, but Mr. B does because
Mm,
he has these, we call them like Derek isms, and so it's just like it's really country lingo. Like he would say things like his mom would say, "That's not enough to put in my eye." When you give her a little bit of food, that's not enough to put in my eye. Okay, so why would you put this in your eye? So what does that mean? And another one in hers that she would say, I'd rather be bit in the A by a mule than to be ignored. Okay, so why are you getting that close to a mule so it can bite you? I'm just like, so stuff like that. He will say it, and because if I'm not paying him to, he'll say that one right there. Or you, that's not enough to put in my eye, so I know that's not enough food for him to eat. So he says things like that, and it's so funny because when he said it, and he's been around his family. All of them just started laughing because they grew up hearing that. But he was the one I think who
that picked
took
it up.
on the sayings. Yes.
Okay. Because they
Mm-hmm.
just like, listen, but like people have like, for example, my mom has her own language. The crusterization, all that kind of stuff. And it's just like that, it's something that's just so uniquely her that listen, I find myself saying it. I'll go to the restaurant and I'll eat some food and I'll be like, it's not it don't got that crusterization like I like it.
You know what? Because your mama will have somebody screw up their diction. Oh my goodness. She said stuff and I was like, what? And between her Spanglish and
Oh yeah. For a period in time, sis was speaking Spanish by putting an O at the end of every single word.
everything. Yes.
I was like, and then the funniest thing is, I took Spanish in college and like all through high school. So it's like when I'm in conversations with people, I can get by speaking Spanish. Like I feel like if you drop me in like a Spanish speaking country, you know what
You
I'm
could
saying?
be all right. Uh-huh.
I'd probably like make a bank or something. You know what I'm saying? I probably own a bank. You know what I'm saying? So like she'll do that kind of stuff and like I feel like it's easy to pick up, and the funniest thing is you won't even realize that you're doing it until after you say it.
Yes, yes. So yes, I definitely because your mom will
Oh
have
yeah, and then she told me to mention the mixing up of all these and ollies.
Oh my gosh, yes. Because we could be on the phone having a conversation, and she was like, "Wani, you need to go to Aldi's," and I was like, "To get so," and I was like, "My Aldi's didn't have that," and she was like, "No, Aldi's." I was like, "What?" I was like, "Ollie's."
No, because it's like, no, she will say. So, for example, we've been living in my area for about 3 years now, and like she will routinely call like Food City. No, she call it Key Foods. So now she'll say Key Foods, and like I just know what she means. But when
Yes.
I first got here, I'd be like Key Foods. I was like, I don't know what that is. So I'd have her keep taking me, and I'm like, oh, you mean Food City? But it's like, do you remember that one time that she? You remember that one time that she sent you to the wrong place? Because she told you it was Ollie's or something like
Yes, yes, that's what I'm. Yes,
that. She was just like she was like, oh, I meant all these.
yes.
She's like, I get that mixed up.
And that was the thing because she say all what I guess the proper words to say Aldi's. I say Aldi's.
Edgar just reminded me of one. My brother's over there. He was talking about how she calls it Smart One instead of Smart Bank.
Uh-huh.
So it's like when I get there, I'll talk to these people and I'll say Smart One because she just says Smart One so much times, and they were like Smart Bank.
Okay.
My friend mom asked, my friend mom would ask if I was going to the store, and when she wanted something, she would say, "I'm gonna send by you." I was like, "Huh?"
Huh? Huh? Yes.
But you know what? I think that some of that might come from like I saw this special. I don't know if CNN probably wasn't doing it, but I think it might have been CNN where they showed like people who are like uh like Creole
Mm-hmm.
and like where that came from, and like the African,
Yeah.
like
Mm-hmm.
enslaved
Mm-hmm.
Africans that went into that area, and it was a mix between African culture and French culture and this culture. And it's like when you hear their like accents, it's
Mm-hmm.
just like, or just like the way that they say things, like I feel like because I'm black, I know what they're saying, but
Mm-hmm.
it's like I feel like people of other maybe like backgrounds would have no idea what they're saying. Like
Right.
whenever people play like Caribbean music around me,
Mm-hmm.
like I know what they're saying because like it sounds like normal to me, like a Sean Paul song. Like
Yes, yes.
most people that when they sing that when they're singing the lyrics, they're like da, 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 da.
But they know the hook. Yeah.
But it's like it sounds like English to me. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I just thought that was funny.
Yes. Yeah, yeah. So that's funny how people have like those types of like behaviors, sayings and things like that.
Yeah.
They carry from one generation to the other. Yeah.
But then more often than not, when you think about those things, they make sense in context. Like
Mm-hmm.
I think that like something that I've heard growing up was hunger will make the monkey eat pepper. And I know growing up, I was like, what does that even mean?
What
Like,
does
but when you think about it, if you're hungry enough, whatever can fill your stomach, you will eat.
yes? See, that's
So
what we see. Yeah. Okay, I get it now because in my head now, why monkeys don't eat peppers?
exactly. But
Yeah.
if they're
If
hungry
they're
enough,
hungry enough, yes.
they don't eat it. So like
Mm-hmm.
that always makes sense to me whenever, because it's like I'll want to eat, but like not know what I want to taste. And like that'll be like the worst at times because it's like I know I want something good, but I don't know what I want to eat. And so it'll be like, well, if you was really hungry, you eat what was
Yes.
in the house.
Yes. Hi, Denise. Yes, we came on tonight. Last week I had AC problems. I couldn't do it.
Hey,
I couldn't do it. So yeah. So no, we're not done. Sure. Stephanie, girl, I'm tired. Stephanie's name has been Michelle. It was just Shirley. It's been everything except for Stephanie. What's saying? What did I miss? We're on chapter 4. We're going through chapter 4. Um, Denise, and we were talking about some of these questions that wait, Stacy said, okay, get off my Creole family toes over there. We know exactly what we're saying to each other. Yes, I guess so.
tribe. You know what I'm saying? It's that tribe. You understand? You get the vibe. Speaking of vibe, do we have time for a fun fact?
Wait a minute. This is what I want, Denise. Denise,
Mhm.
this was our question. I put it in the chat. And it says, "Are there any behaviors that you can easily point out as being one that you learned from your family?" And I was talking about Derek. Derek has, we call them Derekisms, and so they're like things that his mom used to say. Being from the country, that's not enough to put in my eye, or what's the other one I just said? I'd rather be bit in the A by a mule than to be ignored. He just has so many things that his mom would say. And so when he had said them, we were all in California around his siblings, all of them cracked up, but because they were like, I have not heard that since mom passed, when she was like talking.
Yeah.
Yes. And so, but that's what he took from her. And so he says all of these things, and I was like, oh my goodness, Scuba, because his mom's from Scuba, Mississippi. And I was like, Scuba, really?
What? This is city of Scuba?
It's a city name. Yes, she says it's Scuba. She said it's Scopy. It's Scuba.
Scopy. Okay, cool.
Yes. So go ahead with your fun fact.
Oh yeah, the fun fact was we were just talking about just before that. Let me see. Oh, the vibe. Yes. I found out that some of the stuff that like we as like black people like we'll talk about like in like the energy was off, the vibe is off and things like that. That I found out, well, it's not just us as black people, but just people in general. We have an electromagnetic field that naturally occurs with our bodies. And like, for example, like people will talk about like an aura and all that kind of stuff, that we have the ability to be able to send and receive those types of things. It's something that happens in it's the changing, like it's the changing back and like the exchange of like hormones and different things like that, but also our different magnetic energies that we naturally contain for ourselves. So it's cool because there's actual science now that backs up the stuff that we've been talking about forever. You know what I'm saying? Like, like let's say you walk into a room and like the energy's off, like you can feel that because like your body's actually perceiving those things. Yeah.
Oh wow, okay.
I thought that was really cool. I've been learning a lot about that kind of stuff recently.
What's that? Kinese? Is it? Oh.
Maybe I want to say kinesthetics, but I don't
yes.
know. Okay.
That's what I was trying to say, girl.
Yes.
That's what I was saying.
And it's just like I feel like the more that I'm understanding, we can read a room. Exactly.
Yes. She said her family has way too many. I find myself saying them more and more as I get old. The older I get, it's funny to me when others don't really know what I'm saying. But I got you, boo.
Exactly. But you know what? I feel like you don't even really. I feel like the words don't mean as much. Me and Edgar, right? Edgar, my brother, Edgar and I did this really cool thing. No, so he pointed out to me recently. He was saying that if you take away the meaning from the words, like that's the reason why listening to another language sounds so weird, because we haven't been able to attach meaning to the sounds that they're making. So it's like, he was like, have you ever like listened to like English, or like to listen to English without paying attention to what's being said, like listening to the way that people talk.
Just listening to the highs and the lows of what
Like I'm doing that right now, and it sounds so different. Just like, or like even the way that people talk, because people have different like tempos and everything.
Yes,
like
yes.
So it's just like looking into everything, because something cool is words that are good and positive, they usually sound different in the way that we speak than like words that are bad. You know, like the word bad, horrible, like
yeah.
pathetic. You know what I'm saying? Like even the words themselves, like they sound like what they mean. You know?
Right.
And there's even this one study that shows that the different colors that people have to perceive in their natural environment most consistently, and whatever things that are tied to like their survival, shows up more frequently in their language. Like, for example, the Eskimos have, I believe, over 17 words for snow and the types of snow. And each of them means something completely different. because where they are, they're surrounded by the snow, and being able to differentiate between different types of snow is the difference between life and death at times. Yeah.
Okay.
So like our language colors the way that we speak and the way that we see the world.
Okay, I can see that.
I thought that was cool. Let me see. The next one is, oh, the author speaks to her uncomfortability accepting love and devotion in her relationship in the early years. Whenever her husband would pledge his fidelity to her, she would become uncomfortable and brush it off. She did not want to be cheated on by her husband. However, past hurt caused her to desire to leave room for potential infidelity on his part. In her mind, if I didn't expect him to cheat, if he did it, it wouldn't hurt as much. She states that worrying steals joy that is already yours. For example, you know there is something to work on when you should be able to accept love and devotion, but instead fear makes you question whether or not it's real. The sinister thing about allowing low-level thoughts into your head and feelings to permeate through your life unmonitored is that unless someone decides to end the destructive pattern for themselves, it has a tendency of souring the potential of those exposed to it. So my first question is, are there any limiting beliefs that you have in your mind?
Wait a minute, hold on.
You still with us?
Yeah, I'm still with you. I was trying to post this. Okay, so Al said every time I asked my mother for something, she would ask me, "You got a job?" Laugh out loud. I found myself asking my kids that question. Of course, they would look at me like, "Really?
They're looking at you like, money?
Really? What? Yes, you have a job. Yes, money. Hands out."
Listen, according to my mom, I always had money growing up. So,
Yes.
No, there's this one story where, listen, my grandmother came up from from Grenada. So my mom's side of the family is from Grenada. My grandmother came up, and it's an island in the Caribbean for anyone who doesn't know. It's a small island next to Trinidad and Tobago, and it's in that area. And so when she travels, when she came up to buy stuff for her store and stuff in Grenada, she'd bring the money in cash. And so she'd hide it, no, she didn't hide it. I think she gave it to my mom. Yeah, she gave it to my mom to hold. And so my mom, she put it away, and when my grandmother came back to get it, she couldn't find the money. And so she just kind of had to go back to my grandmother and be like, I don't know what happened to the money. Mommy, how much was it? A couple well.
A couple who?
A couple well.
What does that mean?
A lot of money.
Okay.
And so she couldn't find the money. Wait, Mommy, what's the story?
You took the money.
Yeah.
And hide. Melissa took the money and hid the money. And later on, she found out that my mom was later on she come to my mom and she said, "Granny, you know what? Every time I ask mommy for something, she says she don't have no money. Look, she have millions of dollars." So she's always lying. Look how much money she has.
Oh my goodness!
That was my mother money she found.
She said she has millions.
But Mom, wait, no. I was thinking about the other story. I think I got them mixed up. The one where I was handing out money.
No, that was in Grenada when the neighbors the neighbors. I took them to Grenada when they were like 2 and 3, or 3 and 4.
I have no idea.
And then the neighbors were talking about they were hungry. So Melissa heard they said they were hungry. In her little brain, put money where money buys food. She came over to my mom's house, and my mom had just came from her store, and she had collected her cash from her different stores. So Melissa came in her little hands and grabbed a whop of money to go give to the neighbors.
Oh
so
my
mom had just came from downstairs, and she just started seeing $100 bills. So my mom
over the
U.S. money now. My country deal in EC. So just American dollars. So my mom started following the money.
And follow it over to the
I
neighbor's
blessed
place.
that day. She said, Papa.
So they give you the money back?
But she didn't. She was little. She didn't have time to get to their house.
Oh.
And my mom kept picking up when my mom turned the corner and see the little thing starting to go. But what stopped her from getting her the money? She was scared of the chicken. The chicken had like little youngs. So she's standing there with the money in her hand, like the chicken is going to bite me.
Oh my goodness.
Mom
That
took the
is
money
hilarious.
and asked her. She said they was hungry, so I was bringing them money.
Oh my gosh.
Listen, I just be trying to help. You know what I'm saying?
Story with her.
I just be trying to help. You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
my goodness.
You know, God created me to help get back to my people. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
It's for the people.
Al said her stepdad is from Trinidad. Her
Oh,
brothers are half Trinidadian.
okay, cool. I feel
Yes.
like I can tell a tradition. I feel like I'm to the point. I'm not like good at being able to identify all the islands, but for the most part, if somebody talks to me with an accent, I can figure out what island they're from.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Oh my
like the accents are so different.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
But they sound beautiful and melodic. I like the way that it just kind of flows, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like certain African I don't know, like languages. Like it kind of sounds kind of sing-song. Like it sounds like you're singing a bit.
Oh my goodness, no.
As it like it flows. But it makes sense because language started in Africa. Everything
Yes, definitely.
recently, you remember you and I were talking about this.
We sure were.
Everything
We
started
sure
in
were.
Africa.
Yes.
Listen, let the US education system tell you whether it's directly or not. Because I'm telling you, the way that they tell us in school, you know, you got the entire history, and then us Black people enter the timeline as being enslaved. So
Yes.
so in
We
my
didn't
little
exist
mind,
until then.
so in my little mind, you know, we just started off as slaves. It wasn't until recently, and it sounds ignorant now that I say it out loud, but I just like apparently I was putting two and two together, and the way that the story was being told.
Yes, the way that the story was being told, isn't that something?
And then when you think, and then when for what I've been learning, I'm like, we was kings and queens.
Mm-hmm.
We was doing the thing.
Yes. Yes, definitely. That sure was. That's why it's very important to know who you are, just like this chapter is. Know your history. Know your history. And I believe if that, and we talked about this, that's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah.
But it is very important because I believe a lot of the reasons why we are um our society, our culture is doing the things that we do and behave the way that we do is because we don't know our history. We don't know where we come from. And like I said before, we are the only race that don't know their lineage. So, yeah, but
You know what? That would be an interesting conversation to have another time.
we would definitely because that was a very good conversation. Yes, it was.
Dope conversation.
Yes, it was.
And then, ooh, we're over time.
We are. Yes. So I guess we'll stop here because
Well,
I'm gonna fall asleep.
yeah, I feel like I felt bad. You sitting there, you was like this, and I was like, yeah, she definitely not even looking at the time. Let me see what time it is.
Oh, like
So something that we have been discussing is moving the book club from being book based to being kind of theme based. And then we can bring in books or just different things that we think are relevant to the conversation and just kind of making it flow a bit more. Don't get me wrong, you know, Sarah Jakes Roberts, this is a cool book, you know.
yeah,
I do feel like, especially in some books, you know, we can get the message and then, you know, we can keep moving because the message is the point, you know?
yes, exactly.
So we were and are still amazing. Yes. Anyway, yes. You're amazing, Miss Janine.
Yes, you are.
Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Yes, thank you so much.
Just as a heads up, we have maybe like 3 more questions. And then after that, you know, we're going to move to that kind of theme.
Yes.
And we're going to we're gonna send it out when we're just gonna do like a little. We're gonna have a we're gonna list out some of the topics similar to the way that we did it with the book club.
Yeah.
We'll give an idea about what the theme is, before that, and then people can bring just different stuff, or you guys can suggest some stuff that you'd like us to talk about that you think is interesting as well.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's gonna be fun.
It will definitely be fun. Definitely be fun. Well, I want to thank you guys for joining us. I am, yes, I'm crashing fast now, y'all. But like Millie said, I pushed through, and I definitely thank you guys for joining us an hour later. And for all of you guys who gave us a thumbs up, I thank you guys. I
Thank
want to
you.
thank our girl Stephanie. If you're not um, going to check out Stephanie, please do so at Creatively Miss Me. We had Denise on here from This and That with Denise. We had, who else was on here tonight with us?
Oh, Leela.
Um, yeah, we had Aunt Leela. Hey, Aunt Leela. We have Al. Al has a channel. Is Hey, it's me, Al. And who else was on? I'm looking back. And Sunny Day. Sunny Day doesn't have a channel, but Sunny Day is always gonna be here. So I want to thank you all. Your girl is tired. She's about to go take a shower and hit the sacks. So and Stephanie, I don't know why your name is gonna be Michelle today, but your name is Michelle today. It's the sleep. She said only 3 thumbs up. Really? Oh yes, and Stacy, girl. Okay, Stacy, blame it on the sleep. I'm sleep deprived. So designs with Stacy also, and go and check her out. So we're gonna go ahead and end this. Thank you guys again. We'll see you next Thursday at 7 o'clock. I also want to thank my Sora for coming on here and supporting me. Hey girl, thank you. I really appreciate you from the NYC. And that's it. So we will see you next week. Have an amazing weekend, guys. And don't forget the Divas will be coming on tomorrow at 7 o'clock. And I think we're going to talk about the show Revealed. So episode 2. So if you guys haven't watched it, go on to HGTV and watch Revealed, because we definitely want you to chime in on what you guys think for over there. Okay, Al says she sees 11. Thank you. Thank you, all 11 of you guys. I appreciate it. All right, guys. So you guys have a great night. I love you. Have a great weekend.
Have a good
Bye.